Today, when we're sick, we seek warmth and comfort. But just over a century ago, doctors prescribed the opposite exposure to the biting winter air. Instead of cosy rooms, patients with tuberculosis or pneumonia were sent outside, even as snow fell. This open-air treatment was mainstream medicine, not a fringe idea. Beds lined up on verandas, patients bundled under layers, faces exposed to the cold. This was the cutting edge of care. Nurses in heavy coats checked on patients, ensuring their bodies stayed warm while their lungs inhaled icy air. To us, it looks like endurance testing, but back then it was a desperate, hopeful strategy in a world before antibiotics. The belief air itself could heal or harm. Doctors saw a profound link between environment and health, even if their theories were sometimes misguided. Sending the sick into the cold wasn't cruelty. It was a calculated intervention based on the best science of the day. It was a bold fight against diseases that seemed unstoppable. The open-air treatment stands as a testament to the lengths we'll go in search of a cure. Why prescribe winter cold? It all started with the fear of bad air. For centuries, miasma theory blamed disease on noxious air from rot and filth. Stuffy sick rooms were seen as poison. Opening a window was a medical act. Then came germ theory. Disease was caused by invisible microbes, not just foul air. But for decades, doctors believed both. Germs thrived in stagnant air, so fresh air was a disinfectant. Cold, crisp air was thought to be the purest, able to dilute germs and invigorate the body. Some believed cold inhibited tuberculosis bacteria, others thought it boosted the patient's strength. The air itself became medicine. Sending patients into the cold was a logical, if extreme, application of this hybrid science. Doctors aimed to fight both germs and bad air by immersing patients in the purest environment possible. The prescription, not a pill, but a breath of winter. The open-air treatment shaped the very buildings where patients were treated. Sanatoriums sprang up in mountains and remote areas, designed to maximize exposure to fresh air and sunlight. Cure porches and solariums, lined with beds, let patients live outdoors, even in winter. Some buildings even rotated to follow the sun and breeze. Life in a sanatorium was highly structured. Hours of rest, nutrition, and above all, air. Patients spent most of their days and nights outside, bundled up but breathing the elements. These airy institutions became monuments of hope against tuberculosis, removing patients from crowded cities to harness nature's healing power. It was medicine on an environmental scale. Exposing the sick to cold was risky, so doctors engineered ways to keep bodies warm while lungs breathed the chill. Special outdoor beds, called Klondike beds, were layered with heavy blankets and windproof covers. Patients wore flannel pajamas, wrapped tightly in blankets, creating a cocoon of warmth. Hot water bottles, soapstones, and even early electric pads provided extra heat. Only the nose and mouth were left exposed for the healing air. Nurses checked constantly for signs of cold stress or frostbite. Wool hats and scarves protected faces, but the cold was always present. This careful management was key to harness the benefits of cold air, but guard against its dangers. It was a delicate balance, practical engineering in the service of medicine. The system was surprisingly sophisticated for its time. The goal, warmth for the body, cold for the lungs. The open-air cure walked a fine line between healing and hardship. Patients endured hours of stillness, faces numb, eyelashes freezing while hoping for recovery. Nurses vigilantly guarded against hypothermia and frostbite, but risks were ever present. The regimen was monotonous and isolating, but it did offer some benefits: enforced rest, better nutrition, and escape from crowded, unsanitary homes. Fresh air improved ventilation, reducing the spread of disease. But the cold itself was no magic cure. The real breakthrough came with antibiotics in the 1940s, which rendered the elaborate sanatorium system obsolete. The grand porches emptied, and the era of cold air therapy faded. Today, those buildings stand as monuments to a time when a breath of winter was medicine. The story is a reminder of medicine's evolving nature. While freezing patients is history, the core lesson endures: ventilation matters. Early doctors were right. Stale indoor air can be dangerous, especially for airborne diseases. COVID-19 made this clear. Open windows and fresh air reduced transmission. Modern ventilation, fans, HEPA filters, or just a cracked window dilutes pathogens and keeps us safer. In emergencies, when power fails, old methods matter. Isolate the sick, open a window, and protect the household. Clean air, rest, and basic hygiene are still vital tools. The sanatorium era reminds us that environment shapes health. Sometimes the simplest interventions are the most effective. The wisdom of fresh air is timeless. The winter airing routine may seem primitive, but it holds valuable lessons. Past doctors worked with the best knowledge they had, responding to crisis with creativity and courage. Their story reminds us that medical advice evolves, and what seems obvious now may look strange in the future. The shift from miasma to germs to antibiotics reshaped medicine in a single century. Science is a process, not a fixed set of facts. The willingness to try radical solutions, like the cold air cure, reflects a relentless drive to heal. We no longer freeze patients, but the principle of ventilation remains crucial. Sometimes old ideas contain truths worth revisiting. The story of the open-air treatment is about human ingenuity, our relationship with the environment, and the ongoing quest for health. It's a humbling reminder of how far we've come and how much we still have to learn.